Mac.
Artie, you there?
I'm here, Mac. You there?
Yes, sir, I am. It's good to talk to you again, sir.
Yeah, it's always good to talk to you, buddy. I love having you on. Let's talk some Johnny Manziel.
Don't you love it?
Let's talk Johnny football. Now, what do you think's wrong with this kid? He seems to be a bit of a jerk off. Do you think he's just a young kid who's getting a bad rap, or does he have that jerk off gene that could be a problem?
About the autograph stuff. If you've got everybody and their brother making money off of you, and you can't get so much as a dime, I think eventually human nature is going to, rear its ugly head and say, you know what, I want a little of this.
It's frustrating, man, and I agree. I think the college athletes should, on some level, be compensated.
The problem is there are rules.
You know what? You have to change.
I have
them.
issues.
You have to change them. I'm not saying break the rules.
Listen, I would love.
I'm saying change the rules.
The rule is stupid.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree too, but there's still the rule, and it's in place,
Well,
and
Mac, what do you
guys have
think?
been punished for this in the past.
You need extra compensation, most of them. But when you're Johnny Manziel and you're worth, probably a good 7 figures to your university, and you're getting the same thing as a full scholarship golfer,
Yeah.
I think there's a little bit of a rub.
There is, and you're right. You're dealing with human beings. There's going to be resentment. There's going to be human nature. It's going to happen. And why not just get out ahead of this? Let them be professionally represented, and let them make some scratch. Mac. I know we've had a problem with the Mac Engel connection the whole time.
Is that if they're going to go ahead and profit from these guys, you got to give it to them on the back end. Okay, you don't want to give them any extra money from it while they're in school because you don't want to, damage the shroud or the myth of amateurism. Okay, I guess we can play that dog and pony show, but the minute they leave, give them some of the money. Give them some of the residuals that they generate.
Right. We got to figure out what's wrong with Mac's connection. We're gonna put Mac on hold and figure out what's wrong with the connection, and we can discuss this on our own until Mac gets back.
I'm here.
Okay, Mac. We just had a problem with your connection. We continued the conversation without you, and it was going very well. But no. But so we got a big difference of opinion here. What about how I happen to think these guys should be compensated? You were talking about a back end situation. The panel.
How about compensating the rest of us who played retroactively then?
Oh, that's where you're at. Now we know where your mind's at, pal.
No, I'm
you
just
want
saying.
money for you.
Maybe I don't want them to get paid because I'm jealous. No.
Yes.
Get in that Fred Dryer
No,
lawsuit.
I do think, dude, it is like a job without a doubt, and you're putting in a lot of time and effort, but you're still getting an education for free. Maybe I'm brainwashed, but that seems like a pretty good deal.
No, it
Today's day
and age.
it is a good deal. It is a good deal for like 95% of the athlete students who go to college and get a scholarship. It's a great deal. But for the 5%, I don't even know if the number's that big.
Yeah.
The 5% who the money makers, they get royally screwed. And Johnny Manziel may be the most screwed of all of the big-time college athletes today. They make a ton off of that guy, and he's getting the same amount in return as the volleyball player.
Oh, he's a marketing machine. Johnny football, T-shirts. Don't forget about it.
Artie, it's insane.
Yeah.
People are going to Texas A&M University or applying to Texas A&M University because of that guy.
Right. Right. There you go.
He doesn't even go to class. He takes his class online. He lives off campus and he takes his class.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah. He said it to me in an interview back, I guess, in December or January. He's taking all of his classes online because he can't get anything done. He can't.
Oh, because people attack him. They mob him.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
and that's if you believe him. The cynic, not that we're cynics here, the cynic says he's not even taking the class. Somebody's doing it for him.
Well, I mean, listen.
Not that would ever happen in college athletics.
Right.
No, you're right. I mean, listen, it is, if they ever find something out like that, that's going to be the greatest scandal ever. I love it.
But you can't prove it. But now you got videotape, apparently, of Johnny Manziel saying, I'm not going to sign any more autographs unless I get compensated or something like that. I mean, if he gets busted, which I don't think is going to happen, but if he gets busted, all this thing goes down the toilet, and he's going to leave College Station as soon as he can to go sit on an NFL bench someplace because as great as he is in college, this run-around shtick that he can get away with college ain't going to get a fly in the pros, and he's going to get crushed.
Yeah, not at 6 feet, with no type of arm.
Well, what parameters? Okay, so say you let him make money. What parameters do you put on it? What boundaries do you put on it? A certain amount he's allowed to make for this, a certain amount for that. How do you sit down with lawyers? Because here we go, lawyers get involved. We all know that's when the fun starts.
The NCAA, Artie, the NCAA is all based on equity. So whatever you give Johnny Manziel, you've got to give every student athlete in every sport.
Okay. So
now we're talking a couple $100 maybe in stipend money a week, maybe. That's what they could probably, because you and I both know, Artie, anybody getting paid right now is not going to see a hit on their end. They're not going to say, okay, I'm making $85,000 a year. Well, you're not taking any of my money. Go find it someplace else.
Right.
So you do that. Now, how do you adequately and fairly compensate these guys? Because it's going to be all about equity. And whatever you pay the male athlete, you better pay the female athlete, because if you don't, there's going to be a fleet of lawyers outside their respective their congressman's office saying, wait a minute, equal pay for fair play.
And then before you know it, the blacks are going to want what the whites get. Forget about it. Forget about it. No, it's going to be, you're right, it's going to be.
You guys all know it.
It's going to be complicated.
College sports, they have non-revenue sports because they don't make any money.
It's going to be complicated.
Want the same thing.
It's going to be very complicated, and it's going to be a mess. Someone's going to have to figure it out. I don't know. But share your thoughts.
I'll say this, Artie. This is the first time I've thought. I'm 40. It's inevitable. It's coming. Something is going to happen, whether or not the 5 big TV contract conferences break off and form their whatever super league. But we're getting close to a day where these guys are going to get compensated in some way, shape, or form.
Right now, there's that antitrust suit against the NCAA that 6 football players are.
Oh, Fred Dreyer's one? Or no, that's
part
the
of.
one. Yeah.
Fred Dreyer.
O'Bannon, yeah.
The O'Bannon case, yeah, the O'Bannon case, yeah.
But guys, when was the last time we ever heard an antitrust case actually won?
Well, this one actually did win, and then their appeal, the NCAA's appeal was overturned. It was
It hasn't won yet.
or whatever.
It's progressing.
Yeah, it's progressing. It's progressing in a positive direction for those who feel as though college athletes should be paid.
Well, again, once you make the decision to do it, I think the time is going to elapse from that decision being made to when it actually happens is going to be crazy too, because again, lawyers are going to get involved. But Shetty, your thoughts on this? I mean, how would you fix this?
Like Max said, I think that after they're done with school, they should get something.
Well, that's totally not what we're talking about. a lot of them do, Mike. They go on the pros and they get paid.
No, I'm saying, forget it. I'm sorry.
We're arguing if they should get paid while they're in school.
In school, I mean, if people are making that kind of money on it, they should get something out of it,
Thank you.
Let me ask
you know what though, here's the big angle.
John Ritchie really is mad at this. I'm looking at his face.
No,
he's mad.
No. Apparently, the judge is going to rule on whether this can become a class action lawsuit, and then if that's the case, then former players can join the class action lawsuit and get compensated.
And then the flood
Ka-ching, John Ritchie.
That's when things would get
John
crazy.
Ritchie gets richer.
What?
What do you think is going to be fair compensation? What do you think is going to be fair compensation in light of this?
Well,
because I understand the Ed O'Bannon one and all these kind of names were guys who've been on the cover of these video games, and they're not seeing a dime when their likeness is being used. Mm-hmm. What do you think? What do you think you're going to see? $50 a month?
No, well, I think the way it works when you're on scholarship in college is every quarter or semester you get a scholarship check that's going to go towards your books and your
is that how a scholarship
room and board.
works? They get it every. Okay.
Well, if you live off campus, you get a scholarship check. If you live on campus, then they pay for your housing and you get a meal plan or whatever. But off campus, you get a scholarship check. But I can see them, adding a few grand to a scholarship check because it has to be equal across the board for all the sports and all the athletes. You can't. It's just impossible to go much higher than that, I would think. And if you're retroactively paying guys, if this becomes a class action thing and you have to pay, 10,000 guys who joined this from the past or more. Man, what are we going to do? Bankrupt the NCAA? I think
I don't think
you
that's
have to look
possible.
at the feasibility of. Yeah.
Well, you're going to pay them what's practical. You're going to pay them what's practical.
I think a couple grand a semester.
But did it tick?
Yeah.
Would it tick you off at all if you're still playing college football and you get a couple grand a semester and you got 80,000 people going to your games and your games are paying the bills for everybody else in your athletic department and the women's volleyball player and the guy's gymnast is getting the same check?
I'd say that they've got it good.
If the guy in the uneven bars gets the same as me and I'm a running back,
Here's the thing.
blood will be spilled.
Listen, man, they've got it good. They've got it, but so do you. I mean, you're playing a sport that you love to play, and you're going to school for free, and you're getting a couple grand on top of it. But maybe they're getting free money, but in a way, so are you.
And all the broads.
There you go.
It's an interesting argument.
Just like the
There's so much more to it, but I think Manziel should get paid. But you're right. Then it's very complicated.
Let me ask you, Mac. What do you think that Johnny Manziel, if you had to quantify it, what's he worth at Texas A&M?
Oh,
My opinion on this just changed the other day because I was talking to a high school kid who said he was considering to go to Texas A&M University because they're in the SEC and because they have Johnny Manziel. He's a 17-year-old kid. I was like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You're going to go base your 4-year education on a football player whom you will never meet, ever.
well, that's where parenting gets involved. Parenting should get involved.
I would say he's worth millions and millions and millions of dollars in terms of notoriety at that school.
Well, I mean,
they're drawing students in from all over. It used to be if you went to Texas A&M, you went to Texas A&M because you're from Texas or Louisiana or Oklahoma. Now they're drawing in students, high school kids from Florida and Georgia and Tennessee and all these different out-of-state places, which, by the way, pays a higher tuition. So I would think he's worth well into the millions to A&M. In return, he's getting a free $120,000 a year education.
Tens of millions. I would even look. I think superstars in sports are the most criminally underpaid people out there because LeBron James paid about $15 million per year. He's probably worth $50 to Miami. Tom Brady, the same thing. These guys drive the wagon. I mean, these guys are the ones that are bringing fans to the seats that are drawing in ratings. Right. I would venture to say that Johnny Manziel. I mean, I get your argument, John, that you get the education and all. With the money they're getting from ticket sales and outside revenue, from TV revenue, all in, like Mac was saying, kids wanting to go and spend their money on education. They may not want to go before. I would say $30 to $40 million. This guy is worth for that university.
A year?
Per year, absolutely.
Griffin was worth to Baylor. Did you guys ever talk about Baylor University before?
That's true.
No.
You're right.
Would you guys have talked about Texas A&M before Johnny Manziel?
Well,
No.
I did when I bet Baylor Rice in the jerk-off bowl once, but you're right. You're right. Baylor, it is. I mean, I know. It's very, very complicated. It is.
The problem is there's only about a dozen of them, and they're worth a fortune.
Yeah.
And the rest, they're all the same. But the dozen of them are worth a bazillion dollars.
Well,
Heisman winners, a couple of basketball players, and that's it.
Well,
and
listen,
those guys get jobs.
These kids turn 18. They're adults. It's time to start learning adult, realistic lessons, like in the real world. Some guys get paid more than other guys.
What you're asking
better.
What you're asking them to do is essentially take it in the pants. Take it in the pants so other guys can live this lifestyle as well. They're,
Well, but that's the thing.
you're gonna have to suffer. You're one of the 5% that has to suffer because so other guys can have their scholarships.
But you don't have to. Like you say, you're adults now. Let's start living adult lives and learning those cold lessons. Some guys get paid more. They're better.
Artie, when you're part of an ensemble, though, and do you think everybody should be paid? Like, you've been a part of a really successful ensemble. Do you think everybody should be paid the same in that situation?
No. Listen, I was on the Howard Stern show for 8.5 years. Do I deserve what Howard made? No. I mean, it's an adult lesson. It's an adult lesson. Some people are better. They're more important and have worked harder or whatever you want to call it. Whatever reason, some people are just better and deserve more money. That's it. That's it. Does John Ritchie deserve what I make here? Come on.
Some would argue twice as much.
I mean, I could get a chimp to do this.
Boschetti makes way more than both of you.
I'm just saying. You're right. The ensemble thing. It's some people get paid more because they're better at whatever you're doing, and I'm not saying that's the case. In
I
this
think that's a
situation.
good point.
But, I mean,
It's an adult lesson.
and these are what
They're
these
adults
other
now.
athletes are going to have to learn. You're not making what Manziel makes. He's better. He's the Heisman Trophy winner. So deal with it. It's life. We're not in the soccer field anymore where we're not keeping score because you're 10 and we don't want to hurt your feelings. We're adults. We're all 18 and 19 and 20 and 21 years.
What if you take something? What is it? The Q score. What if you somehow average? You take every player's Q score, and if it's above a certain level, then you take a percentage of it and you convert it to dollars, and that's what they
Do you
get.
see what I mean with him?
You
see what I mean with him?
Johnny Manziel's Q score. I mean, that's through the roof, right?
What's a Q score?
Maybe not now, but
That's
basically your popularity. Yeah.
Q rating.
People are aware of
We
it.
call
Yeah,
it
the
Q rating.
Q. Yeah, if someone is a household name, then I mean that would be a way that you could
Clearly, that argues that Manziel through the roof.
Oh, those Q ratings rise and fall like the tide. Tiger Woods went to the toilet afterwards, and he's still,
Well, then you assess it quarter to quarter, semester to semester, and then you cut them a check.
Do we have to
accordingly.
break or what? We do. Let's break. Can you stick around? I want to talk A-Rod with you.
Yeah, I'll stick around, Artie.
Mac, I love you. All right. We'll come right back with Mac Engel. Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show. Mac Engel is here.
I don't know if that was English.
No, I understood it.
Mac Engel. I'm having a provolone sandwich and wheat nut bread, whatever.
Delicious.
So, I want to talk about A-Rod in Texas.
Absolutely. My favorite guy. He hated me.
Okay, give us that background. What happened?
I don't know why. I covered him his first 2 years in Texas, and Alex was one of these rare guys, and John, you may have known guys like this too. A-Rod knew what everybody did in the media, and he knew that I was just starting out, and he knew I wasn't the important one in terms of the beat writers already covering the paper.
Right.
So he didn't really think he really didn't think I was that important, especially when he found out in 2001 there was this article that had come out where he made some comments that were kind of perceived as degrading about his man Derek Jeter, and he looks at me and he says, "Hey man, I need to talk to you about this." This
Really?
is after all the other reporters had walked away, and he tried to explain himself in a really crappy way. And I said, "Yeah, man, okay." I'm like, "What's up? What do you want to do?" He's like, "What am I going to do about this?" He's like, "This is going to blow up. What am I supposed to do about this?"
What?
And I was trying to talk him through. And he said, "You're from New York, right?" He's saying this to me, and I said, "No, I'm not from New York. I'm from Texas. I cover the team." He said, "Oh, I thought you were from New York. I don't want to talk to you."
No kidding. No kidding. Yeah, well, again, he really is an a-hole.
Oh, he's a total turd. Yeah, he's a total turd. And his teammates didn't like him. The young guys all liked him because they fawned on him, and they fawned all over him. And, he kind of took them under their wing, and he kind of impressed them because, he's A-Rod. The older guys, there was so much division in that locker room because it was A-Rod and everybody else. Rafael Palmeiro couldn't stand him because he was jealous. The general manager didn't want to sign him, and quite frankly, A-Rod never wanted to be here. But I am telling you this right now from an eyeball test. I will never forget the day he came out of the weight room into the locker room in spring training in 2002, and I swear to God, it looked like somebody took a bike pump and pumped him full of air.
Of course.
He looked phenomenal. I'm not gay, but that day I'm like, okay, I'd think about it.
Whatever. Well, listen,
great.
you had Palmeiro, you had him, the roids going through there. Forget it.
Artie, you would never have. I even talked to a former teammate of those guys, and he said the same thing. He never would have guessed Palmeiro.
Really?
Use him. Never. He didn't show the signs of it. He looked like an in-shape 35-year-old guy. He did. You would never have guessed he was using it. With A-Rod and a couple other ones in there,
Blew up.
there's no doubt in your mind you would say, "Oh yeah, for sure."
Blew up. Well, what do you think about his legacy? Is it just? Is there a more tragic figure, honestly? Is there a bigger letdown? A guy that was supposed to be, Willie Mays and Joe DiMaggio all wrapped up into one, and
No,
turns
because
into nothing.
I think if you look at, I think to me, his legacy is he is the face of his era of steroid users. You're talking about a great player who didn't need him. He'd probably
Right.
go to the Hall of Fame without him.
Sure.
And now he is the face of greed in free agency, of an agent who took over his life and ran him wherever he could find the biggest dollar. And now, instead of being hailed and celebrated as one of the great talents baseball's ever seen, he's going to finish his career in utter infamy, fighting tooth and nail to keep the privilege to play the game. That I say this sincerely, he loved playing baseball. He was never really about the other stuff when he started, and then the other stuff became so prevalent, whether it was money, fame, notoriety, girls, whatever. That became the overriding theme about A-Rod, and I think it ultimately became one of the biggest reasons why he decided to say, you know what, I'm going to take this shot. Everybody else is doing it. I'm going to go ahead and do it because I'm going to be the greatest player that has ever played the game.
I don't know how you make that decision in your own mind too and do that to your legacy in your own mind. Wouldn't you be way more interested and curious on what you could do without them? Well, you know what I mean? Like, wouldn't you be, as a human being, wouldn't you be way more curious on what kind of numbers could I put up without those steroids? What did God really give me? Like I know I'm great. I know I'm one of the greatest ever. Let's see how great. What did God give me? Wouldn't that be way more interesting to you? I mean, just you know, I don't know.
Artie, don't you think they could? I mean, if there's anybody who's going to ask that same question too, it would have been Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds.
Another guy, yeah. What you know? Genetics. Barry Bonds' kid. It's how many of these great baseball genes did I get? What can I do without this other stuff? You know, I'm going to be rich no matter what.
Yeah. And then it became all about, you know, these guys are, I mean, they're not geniuses. They're not going to cure cancer. They're not going to work at NASA. But they can see the writing on the wall. If I hit home runs, I'm going to get paid more. That's why Barry Bonds did it.
Oh, come on. But how much more does he want? I mean, I know you're going to say, all right, come on, wake up. It's greed. I get it. All men, you know, Springsteen and Badlands. All men want to be rich. Rich man want to be king, and a king ain't satisfied till he has an 80-pound forehead.
I mean, Artie, you talk about Springsteen. I love Springsteen. He's Mr. Anti-Big Corporation. Eventually, he jumped into bed with
I know.
Walmart.
Listen, of course. Listen. The guy is a traveling corporation, but he just, you know, he kept playing his music, and the people came. What are you gonna do? I mean, he turned down a lot of stuff too. He turned down, you know, legendary type stuff.
And Artie, I don't know if you've been around big-time entertainers who've been swayed by powerful agents and entertainment executives. I'm telling you this right now. The agent that represented A-Rod for basically the large portion of his career, and Scott Boras, wielded a tremendous amount of influence on that man's life.
I know. You're right. Absolutely. It's just sad. That makes it even sadder that it was some other jerk-off's game plan, you know, because you're right. When you're all...
But I'm telling you, it started the minute he became a free agent at the end of 2000. He was going for the biggest contract he could find, and I don't think he was. His agent was, because A-Rod wanted to go to New York from day one. This was a riot. After he signed the 10-year, $252 million contract, I remember him telling a writer, he hadn't been with Texas for 2 months. 2 months he hadn't been with Texas. And he was telling a writer, a national writer, why is nobody talking about the out in my contract after its 7th year? I can go to New York.
Yeah.
And we looked at each other like, are you insane?
Yeah, I know.
7 years from now.
Right. Nobody cared.
He never wanted to be here.
And by the way, Scott Boras was Barry Bonds' agent as well. Let's Boras rearing his ugly head. So you believe, we got to let you go real quick here, but so you believe he was not doing steroids throughout his Seattle years?
You know, I hear different things about it, and you know, the eyeball test is deceiving, because you're talking about Rafael Palmeiro, whom I never would have guessed, and other guys you would look at and say, oh, no way, and then you find out later that they did. At this point in my life, about these players in this generation, I don't believe any. I believe I'm telling you what, I know in 2001 and 2002, a hell of a lot of guys were doing it, pitchers too.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was doing it. He didn't look like it. The only time I knew for sure was the spring of 2002.
Right.
When he walked in that locker room, I was like, that guy's doing something.
Right. So maybe, well, it could be a situation where he just started doing more or a different kind, because a lot of people think he was on him in Seattle. But maybe he got introduced to Boris and got introduced to roids. Who knows?
But if you look at that Mariners team too, and in fairness to not just the Mariners, they were all doing it. A lot of those Mariners teams on that great team in 2002 or 2001 that won 116 games.
Yeah.
Go take a look at Brett Boone.
Yeah, I know. You're right. No, you're right. That's right. I forgot about that team. 116 wins in 01. That's right.
I mean, they set the major league record. In A-Rod's first year gone from the club, and if you go look at Brett Boone's stats and the way he looked,
right,
that was a different-looking human being.
Interesting, man, and sad. Again, all these guys, an entire era of the game. And some people,
and if you want to put a face on it, it's A-Rod.
Yeah, you're right. And some people's eyes completely ruined. Mac Engel, join us anytime, brother. We got to run.
Thanks, Artie.
Okay, Mac, the great Mac Engel.